Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Hello again, everyone out there in the cleaning business world. Welcome to True Grime Stories. I'm so excited for this next episode because I have my dear friend, Marianne Miller, here with me. And Marianne is the owner of Mops Cleaning Service in Lexington, Kentucky. We've known each other for quite a few years, so I've really been looking forward to having this time with Marianne today. And I know she's going to have a lot to share with you. She's a co-owner of Mops, and they lead with excellence and a heart for service, focused on the people in their business and outside of their business. And Marianne started, like many of us, in another career before she started her cleaning business. She was a registered nurse, and I can really see that in Marianne's nature. She's just so caring and has that kind of heart of service. And then she homeschooled her children for a while, and then eventually became an entrepreneur dedicated to building a company that has meaningful impact. And what started as a family business with her husband and her college-age son, Laban, has grown to a team-driven organization rooted in their mission of helping their team members rise while helping their clients rest. Oh my gosh, I love that mission, Marianne. Welcome to True Grime Stories. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and share our story and kind of what I've been learning the last 12 years.
Yeah. So 12 years. You've definitely been in it longer than I have. So, and it's been great to get to know you, Marianne, because you have so much wealth of knowledge to share. You know, each of us brings something from our past, into this business. And I think a lot of the way that you have always been caring for people all of your life probably has really helped you, build the business that you have today.
I would like to think so. And it's interesting that you mentioned that. I don't think I gave myself enough credit early on of the experience that I brought to the table. I just saw myself as a brand new entrepreneur, inexperienced. I don't know what I'm doing. And so it took me a while to figure out I do have something that I'm bringing to the table that was being developed before I chose to be an entrepreneur. So it's been fun to enlightening to be able to recognize that and apply it, just continue to apply it in my company. Yeah.
And a lot of us have never owned a business before when we come into this. And so we feel a little bit, like a fish out of water when we first get started. But the thing that I love about it is each business ends up being so unique because the owner brings just different experiences, different passions into the business. And I've definitely seen that in Mops. And, as you built your team and watched your business grow. So I want to dive in today because I met you several years ago. When did we first meet? What year was that?
So I believe it was in the fall, actually probably January of 2020. I think it's 20. It was my first pros event.
Okay.
In Debbie's office.
Right. Oh, yes. Now I remember right before the world fell apart.
Right before. I believe I'm right. I get a little confused on that date. I need to, it may have even been the year before 19, but I'm pretty sure it was January of 20.
Yeah, we used to have before that, the pros group. Back then the pros group was probably 25 or less people.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
CBF Pros is a group of business owners whose businesses are at $500,000 in revenue or more. And now there's over 100 people in that group today. Yeah. So it's grown like crazy.
It has.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I met you. And we spent, I think it was just a day and a half together, and learned real quickly in the room of 20 or 25 people how many different types of entrepreneurs are out there. And it was probably a little overwhelming for me, but it was also exactly what I needed to just kind of get inspired to understand who I was in the mix of all that. But yeah, it was, I remember it well.
Yeah. Yeah. And there really isn't one way, right? There just isn't one path for us. And there isn't just one way to do it. I mean, we all have cleaning businesses, but we can make them so unique and so our own. And yeah, so, but it's good to be in a room full of other success-minded people. Yes. I know that really drives me too, for sure. Yep. So let's dig in though, before that day, when you were running your cleaning business, we like to, at True Grime Stories, we like to go back to your grime scene. So like, what was that moment in time when like things just weren't going great? And, what was happening then and what was your life like?
Sure. So really not soon before, I mean, probably 3 months before meeting you, we were at $500,000 and I didn't even have time to really celebrate where we came from because I was just so in the middle of everything. And one night, told my husband, I said, I don't really enjoy this anymore. And at this point, it was just me. My husband and son had moved on to other careers, other things, their plans. And I just thought, I'm up late at night. I didn't feel like I was giving my best, easily irritated about things I shouldn't have even, been irritated about. And Laban, my husband, said, hey, I think you need to pull someone else in. And he had remembered when we had met Debbie, a consultant in the cleaning business world. And he said, I wonder if she's still around doing anything, which is so funny.
Is she ever?
And so I called her up and true to, I guess, a great consultant and sales expert, she proceeded to tell me everything that was going on. And I just kind of committed, signed on the dotted line because I think I told her, I don't use the word hate a lot, but I think I said, I really hate my business right now. It's not what I want to do. And I said, I feel bad about it, but I'm not sure where to go from here, kind of thing. So I think that was probably the worst. And I think the main reason I felt that way is I didn't realize it then, but I've come to realize I was in everything. So I was coverage. So this was probably the word.
Oh, you would still clean occasionally?
I was backup coverage. But you know what that means? It means at the most inconvenient times, you're trying to salvage something going on out in the field. I had a hard time. I hardly had time to really focus on my people and developing people. I was just putting out fires, which we've all said. And it just felt like every day was a fire. And I was missing important things in my personal life. And I thought I don't think this is the path that I want to be on or should be on, but I wasn't quite sure what to do. So that was probably my lowest. I mean, so I had, what a lot of people would say, a successful business, but they had no idea what my life was like. No vacations. We stopped visiting my family. It just was day to day kind of chaos. Yeah.
So on the outside, if somebody looked at your business, it's probably like, wow, Marianne's killing it there at Top Mops, but behind the scenes, when you pull back the curtain, how you're really living it out though, sounds, kind of painful, right?
Right. I think I even said at that point, I think I want to go back and be working. I still my nursing license. I think I want to go back in healthcare, which was sort of crazy for my husband because that has its own chaos. And things you don't get to control that, and so he was like, well, hold up. Let's see. I needed to say it out loud, I think. to him, to somebody, which I think is an important lesson for people, you to have whoever that person or people are, to be able to say, hey, I'm really struggling. I don't like this anymore, or I don't know what to do. And then I think that started me going, instead of continuing to descend, started to climb the mountain back up in the right direction.
Yeah. It was like the beginning of, kind of turning a new leaf, discovering new things. And when you, at that moment, which, credit to you and Laban for the partnership that you have, that's one thing that people struggle with sometimes, is their partner isn't so supportive. It's great that he's like, go get some help. That's awesome.
Right. I honestly, when I know people are doing it alone, totally alone, I just have such respect for how difficult it is, because while I'm the one that does, I'm the CEO of the company, I have all his expertise behind me. He came from human resources, healthcare administration. He's a great communicator. So I had all that behind me, but I was still struggling, that employee facing, customer facing part. I think I was just worn out.
Yeah. And it's hard to know where to start when you're kind of in overwhelm mode. And, you were wearing all the hats, right? All the hats. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And we don't understand as entrepreneurs that we don't have to wear all the hats, or we don't know which one to take off first, which one is safe to give to somebody else, or how to even find that person, what they should be, how much to pay them, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you found your coach, you started fixing things. What was like one thing that was like super impactful, one or two things that like really started to turn stuff around for you and kind of get you out of that mode of doing all the things and overwhelm and not loving your business? Like, what was one or two things that really helped you start to turn the page on that?
So I didn't mention this, so I should say one thing I did that helped me temporarily, but it was a very bad fix.
Oh.
I hired someone.
Oh, okay. And this is after you started something?
This was right before I said, it was probably a year before, and I thought this would take care of it. So, and I realized I didn't say it. So I did, this principle of, you should delegate, not abdicate. And I just threw everything on this person. Not intentionally. It just happened over time. She came with such an attitude of wanting to help me. And so for a little while, I got this false respite. But I was really just pulling out and thinking, okay, I like my life. I wasn't at the office as much, had a little more free time. And then I realized we weren't growing and we had problems that we weren't fixing. We were just patching.
You were kind of just coasting.
Just coasting a little, putting Band-Aids on things, hoping. And then that's when I got to a place where, even though I had this person helping me, it wasn't quite the answer I was looking for. I still didn't know what I wanted out of the company, didn't know how to get to the next, whatever the next stage was. I was still kind of stuck in a mess, it felt like. And then that's when I joined. And so your question was, what was kind of the first sign that I was heading in the right direction?
Yeah, like an action that you took or some change that you made that, or even it, might even be just have been a discovery that you had that helped you to start digging your way out of your grime story.
Yes. One was realizing that I had given her too much, or I was too willing to let her handle too much. And so I kind of pulled back on the hiring process because in talking to other entrepreneurs, and they talked about that the importance of who you hire, and you want to hang on to that as long as you think you should to create the culture that you wanted. And I realized I had given that away too quickly.
So you gave hiring your technicians to this new person who was helping
this
you.
New person, yes. I gave a lot away. But I'm just going to be honest.
Like, here, you got this. I'll be over here. Yeah.
Yes. I'm embarrassed and I feel bad. No, I feel bad.
We all do that. Though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it is just part of it is because we're so tired.
Yes,
right?
It is.
It's like we need a break.
And she was a saint, and I think she saw how tired I was, and she wanted to help.
And she wanted to help too, which also sometimes can play against us.
It can. And she was a lot like me. She is a lot, like me. So, but I think when I decided I needed to really own the hiring process, and so I read Who Not How.
Oh, good book.
Yeah. And I said, I'm going to take it to heart with hiring. So I pulled in a company to help me with hiring. And at the time I thought, I can't afford this. And then, you first you do the math in your head and you think, I can do this. Why can't I do this? You sort of put yourself, or I did, put myself down. Why can't I figure this out? And, but I didn't think about it too long. I just did it. And it was one of the best decisions I made at that point. And I still work with them. And,
well, ultimately, in that regard, though, when you hire a hiring service, so to speak, or recruiting service, they're really just acting as a filter.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's shortening the process for you. So you don't have to read every word of every resume and make every little phone call and all this kind of stuff. And you create the filter. Basically, you tell them who you're looking for and stuff like that. So it's kind of a shortcutting, but it's not like you stop hiring. You're still hiring.
Yes.
It just kind of helps you filter it and get to the right people faster.
Right. And that was huge for me because then people came in, you get enough people that you really get to practice your interviewing skills and your analyzing, assessing, making decisions, making the wrong decisions, the right decisions. And
you get to see how they play out, right?
Yes.
Every time you hire someone, I guess next time I'm going to watch for that.
Yes. And then you get more confident about who you're looking for. And so I think that was really a huge step in the right direction. And it also helped me find some gems that I had this huge desire to take care of in a new way. And it gave me for the first time, my real mission. And so I think that was a big part of my taking baby steps up the mountain, discovering that. And at the same time, I read the book Traction, and I remember when that was. That was on the way back from a conference right before COVID. And my husband, we went through the book, we read it, we had a 16-hour drive, and we worked all the way through it, which is where our mission, helping our people rise, helping our clients rest, where it came from.
Oh my God. I love that so much. Yeah.
And it's become it's just kind of my model. And this morning we had just a small photo shoot, and we did some little videos of staff, and every single one of them mentioned, I didn't prompt them. It just rolled right off their tongue, our mission.
Oh,
and I was like,
I just got goosebumps.
I know. I was like, thank you, Lord. Because that's
very few people accomplish that.
So it was really special.
People can create a mission that resonates so well with the people in the business that they can just recite it and it means something to them too.
Right.
I think that's our goal. That's everyone's goal, but it's hard to do,
Right.
And, the fact that, you're just so intentional about the team that you're building, that, you've been able to do that. So congratulations.
Thank you. I haven't even told my husband yet. You're the first person I told.
I feel special. Yeah. So you learned a lesson about delegating, right? We can like over delegate.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so did that person stay with you for a while?
She did which is probably my next little plateau. She left a year and a half ago, and kind of got this amazing offer that she couldn't turn down.
Right.
And at the time it felt, and we had this discussion, but it felt freeing to her and to me. I could bless her, leave, go do your thing, and be happy, thank you for everything you've done. And I said, I'm going to do this differently this time. I am not going to pull someone else in when I know I have systems and processes that aren't as defined and working the way they should be. We're going to, with the team I had here, we're going to work on these things, and I'm going to own it. And so that's really what I've been doing for a year and a half. And now I'm building my leadership team.
Okay. Wow. Well, you saw the opportunity in that. But sometimes the change in the people on our team can sometimes be a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Well, let's pause here. It's been so good so far. And let's hear a little bit more from our sponsor, CBF, and then we'll be right back.
After 9 incredible years, it's the grand finale of CBF Live. We're going out with a bang, and you don't want to miss it. Join CBF founder Debbie Sardone and hundreds of cleaning professionals for 3 game-changing days packed with insider strategies, powerful networking, and exclusive tools to take your business to the next level. This is your last chance before CBF Live is gone forever. Use my discount code in the show notes and save $100 on your ticket to CBF Live 2025.
Welcome back, everybody, to True Grime Stories. We are here with Mary Ann Miller with Top Mops Cleaning Service in Lexington, Kentucky. And Mary Ann's been sharing with us her hiring and delegating journey, which is something that if you want to grow, you got to learn this. So Mary Ann, I love that we are talking about this today, because anyone who wants to grow a decent sized cleaning business, you started out, you were talking about being at about 500,000, and if you really want to build a business that's going to support your family and many other families, you kind of have to get over that hump. And you shared that at first you kind of over delegated, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
I did. Yes. I didn't realize it then, but the realization came pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it's so easy to do. But it's very rare for someone who is not an entrepreneur like you are to be able to do all the things and do them well. Entrepreneurs have a strange way of being able to wear all the hats and still kind of keep it going. And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just because it's ours.
Right.
It's like our baby, we have to keep it alive. Right.
So you'll figure it out. You'll stay up all night and take care of the sick child. People ask that of parents sometimes. How did you do it when your child was sick for those 2 weeks? Did you get any sleep? And, I think you're exactly right. That is part of being an entrepreneur. People are counting on you, just like a baby is counting on you as a parent. And you just keep trying to figure it out, even if it's not pretty, if it's not, it definitely wasn't always my best. But I'm trying to keep all the balls in the air so none of them break. And
we do it. We keep going. And the other thing, who was I talking to the other day? Oh, it's another coach that we have, Dirk Van Reenen, that he was talking about keeping the balls in the air.
Yes.
And he was saying that there's 2 kinds of balls. There's rubber balls and there's glass balls. And we're trying to keep them all in the air. And babies are like rubber balls, right? They drop in their pocket.
Yes.
But like the thing about entrepreneurs is we're really good about keeping the glass balls in the air longer. Like we can keep that going for a long time.
Yes.
They start to fall. But it's amazing what we can do. But when we start to shift that off to other people, they get tired faster. They don't have the dedication. It's not their baby, and they're not going to take care of it or be able to the same way. It's just
right.
They're not as crazy as we are.
Right.
No, I'm talking about me, not you. So
no, I know. No, I agree. I think it's a great way to visualize how it feels. And I don't think I always realized that I was expecting myself to keep everything going. But then when you would sometimes I would have people in my life who would say, take the afternoon and kind of plan what you need to do, what you're involved in. And even that was overwhelming for me at different times because it's just so many line items of things that I became very aware that everything comes back to me. And that for me was very overwhelming, but it was really good to acknowledge it and say, this is going to stop. I am going to make a change in the way I'm doing things. And then I think that's where you start to understand who, not how. I was trying to figure out all the details of every part of the business. And I was just reflecting before this to think, what are some of the areas, marketing. I never saw myself as a marketer or a salesperson. And I discovered when I have time that I love it. And I love, it's not like I love all the details of graphics and all of that, but I love selling a mission. I love selling what we do that brings value to people's lives. I could talk about that all day, and I'm pretty good at convincing people.
Right. Well, it's
those things.
Because it's your passion.
Right.
It's part of who you are. And so it's easy to sell that. Like,
right.
Yeah. So that's really cool that you discovered that about yourself. And you mentioned who, not how, and traction. I mean, all these great tools are out there to help us kind of grow to that next level. Who, not how was very eye-opening for me as well. Like, because I was one of those people that was always thinking of the how.
Right. Just is so natural. Well, even I was thinking about marketing and sales, you get into the whole graphics part, and I didn't have any training in that. And so it was actually quite humorous. Spending hours.
Oh, I know. For like one project.
And, I'd be like, okay, here I have this little thing that I developed, and everybody's like, oh, that's great. And then I would go home and tell Laban, it took me 14 hours to create this thing. There's got to be a better way. I'm exaggerating, but I think that's when I realized you do all these areas like marketing, finance. You have to subdivide them. Maybe you're not giving them all away, but there might be parts of them, bookkeeping, that we shouldn't be doing anymore. And I think when those pieces started coming together and I started building people around the company that I trusted, and then they had this expertise, it freed up, just exponentially, my minutes that I had to do more things that I really loved and cared about. And that continues to happen. I hope it never ends, that I just continue how to find that. But that has been definitely a learning process for me. And I think depending on where people come from, like their background, mine as a nurse, I was a part of a healthcare organization that was huge. And so I had all these resources from being my very first day as a nurse. All I had to do was follow the systems and processes. I didn't have to create them.
Yes, they were there already. Yeah.
And so here I had to suddenly do that. And I'm not naturally the most organized person. I'm much more relational than I am tactical. And so I've had to learn how to balance those because I need both of them as an entrepreneur.
Well, you've done a great job with it. And, you're in the top 1% of the industry, as a result of that. You were talking about, having more time to do the things you love, but it's more time to do the big things that move your business in a big way.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
You get so caught up in the little designing, a really cool little graphic. It's like, what could you have done with those remaining hours? And that's where finding someone who loves doing that, is really good at it, then frees you up to take that 14 hours and do the high level marketing thinking, like creating a plan, working the budget, projecting the year, the year's marketing, and how many people you want to build your business by and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's the CEO stuff you get to do when you realize, if I delegate the right things to the right people, right, it changes everything.
It does. It does. Well, and that you just described how I feel the last year has been for me. I had an employee come to me and had been with us for a number of years. And she said, I really want to grow. So she made it so easy for me because she announced, I'm here. I want to stay. Help me out. So that was January 1 of 2023. And I'm sorry, 2024. And now a year later, she is becoming one of my key leaders in the company. And
did I meet her?
I'm sorry?
Did I meet her?
You did meet her.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
You did. And I have a whole, she is. And I feel like I have a whole team in the office. And my technicians. So I had more bandwidth this year because of putting people in place. My husband and I decided we really were interested what we heard all about motivation and why do people stay at any job? And so being the researcher that he is, we really got into learning more about self-determination theory and the whole idea that you have to have connectedness. And when you have connectedness, it gives you space to to become competent in an area. And then after the competence comes choice or autonomy. And so we just decided we're going to really look, because everybody, all of us have these psychological needs. So we decided we're going to really look at this as a framework, because we had this mission of helping our people rise. And we're like, okay, that sounds good. Looks good on paper. How are we going to do that? And so this was kind of that needing bigger space to really tear that apart and understand, what does that mean? How do we help people rise? Well, I knew right away it couldn't just be my hat, because I was going to limit my company. So one thing we did was pull in developing a concept of pods and pod coaches. And so the last 4 months, we've been developing that role and having weekly pod huddles. And that has been such a beautiful thing in my company, because these people that are working as an extension, I don't even like to use that phrase, but they're working with me to develop our people. More people are stepping up and wanting opportunities and talking about how what they do at work is helping them in their personal life. And so I'm really excited, because I don't think years ago that I would be able to even think about these, for me, bigger concepts. And so anyway, we're excited. We're really excited about things that are happening within the company.
Well, and that just goes to show how we have to become that person that our business needs to keep growing, right? We have to keep growing as the leader of our business, for our business to keep growing. Like, we have to keep putting more space into what we can do, to allow it to grow. So how cool is that? What you're doing is lifting people up and giving them now confidence to be a leader at another level that they probably never imagined.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and, helping them discover their own like leadership path.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's,
oh my gosh.
it is. Yeah. Someone recently asked me, wow, you still have a cleaning business? And I'm like, yeah.
Don't you love
I
it?
do. I know. I do. And then they say, why are you doing it? And I just decided I'm just going to start saying this. And I said, I love creating a space for people to learn how to lead others. And it's kind of a space and a place, however you want to say that. And they're like, huh.
They just don't get it, but they don't think.
Yeah.
They're probably still thinking about it.
Right.
Said that.
Right.
Yeah. Because people just think we clean houses.
Right. Right.
We are people companies.
Right.
Yes, our people clean houses, but we're a hiring business. We're a training business. We're a leadership business.
Right.
And you're taking it to that next level. So this is just a really great example, Marianne, of how like leaning into becoming a leader and understanding how, people rise to the occasion when you give them responsibility and you give them great expectations and they start to do things that you never even imagined, right?
Right, right. And it's so exciting. They do things so much better and beyond what you could do. And I think there's just that one of the more fulfilling things so far in my life has been is realizing that, giving people that space. And I have plenty of things I'm still working on as an entrepreneur. There are things like when your profit margins aren't where you want them, how do you resolve that? But I will say every day I go more to this space that we're talking about right now, because it's my magical space, like where I feel like I get most excited about the business. But I have to deal with the other part, right? It's part of being, but I
know sometimes like, I gotta work on that. Because I would rather just work on the people part all day too. Yeah, it's and it is the most important part. If you don't have the people part, the other parts can't even happen. So
that's right. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So how are you feeling about your life today? What's different about your life now than when you look back?
So some really practical things, and I've heard others share on here, but both of us, my husband and I, have aging parents, and I can't remember. I think I was on 42 flights or something last year. It was a lot traveling back, to get to them when they had health issues. And I was so grateful because I know I don't know if I ever went over 2 weeks, but definitely a couple occasions last minute for like 2 weeks. And I was in a hospital setting, didn't have access to, how that is.
Oh, I do.
And I just left it. And my team just held it together. And while I would say, if you want to grow, you need to have the right person there if it's not going to be you. But you can definitely, people can still thrive. I mean, when you have the systems and the people in place. And so it was really a good experience for me this year. It wasn't the kind of things I would like to go away for, but I was glad I could be available to my family. And I've thought about it.
Imagine it the other way around.
Oh, I know.
Because that need that your parents had would still be there.
Right.
And, but now you have the ability to be present at a really important time in your family's lives. Right. And your business still continues to thrive without you there every minute. It's still connected. Yeah, it is. What a huge blessing. Yeah. Huge for everyone. Yeah.
I've thought about it. If I had continued as a nurse in a hospital setting, I don't know if I could have had a year like I did and expect to keep a job.
Right. Yeah.
in the same
Yeah.
way. And so I've just been so appreciative because that's not, when I started the business, that's not what I was thinking about.
Right.
That wasn't
We don't
like
think
my
about
end
the
goal.
bad stuff that's going to come, right? The hard stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
In that way, it's been a very good year to acknowledge that there are some amazing people that choose to be here. But it also really lights my fire because I want to have a business, a company that they can count on. So it keeps me pushing forward.
That is so great. Well, and it's been a joy to watch this transition in your life, because when I met you, I remember that doubt that you had.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, Right. And, I remember like, oh, Marianne, you got this, like.
Yeah, right.
I remember the doubt that you had in the fact that you just didn't know if it was what you wanted to keep doing. And you had to find that thing that lit your fire, but it's hard. It's hard to find your passion when you're tired. It's hard to find it when you're exhausted and overwhelmed. And
it is.
Get out of that place first.
It is. And that's kind of always been my encouragement. When anyone asks, I want to start a business or I want to do this, whatever, I'm like, just make sure you have someone around that you can process it with. They don't have to be from the same industry, but just when things are difficult, and they will get difficult at times, that you can talk about it. And I think humility is huge. Being able to say, I don't know what I'm doing, and ask for help. It's still hard for me to do because you want to look competent in everything you do. And we talk about it, in the company, we want our companies to look bigger than they are. But I think part of that, sometimes I think being that humility is probably a way for people to connect with us more than we realize. So sometimes we have to kind of step back and be willing to admit we messed up, let us fix it. And I still find all of it very fulfilling. I mean, I have my days, Jeannie.
We all have our days. Yeah.
Today's been a good one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's so good. Well, oh my gosh, Mary, what a great way to look at business. Thank you for sharing your journey with our True Grime Stories audience today. I know a lot of people will find it very encouraging because they can relate,
Sure.
And we have to understand how to build our teams effectively if we really want to ever get to that great big business that we're trying to build. And Marianne has built a great business. She is now in the CBF Elites program, which is our top tier ascension program in the Cleaning Business Fundamentals program. So that's been fun to have you be part of that, Marianne. And so we look forward to watching you grow. And thanks for being part of True Grime Stories today.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been fun. And if you're watching today and you want to learn more about how to grow your cleaning business, I hope you'll reach out and connect with me. You can sign up for a free call. I'd love to hear about your business and talk about some strategies to help you grow. And one great way to do that is to join us at CBF Live this April 2025 in Dallas, Texas. It is going to be the last CBF Live after 9 years, so don't miss it. Look in the show notes for a link to learn all about it and my discount code to get $100 off your ticket. So thank you again for being part of True Grime Stories. Be sure to share this, download, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.